Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well today. In this video, we are discussing what is going on with Star Citizen right now, and that's kind of a good thing actually at this point. There's a whole lot going on, and honestly, it's kind of very weird to have this happen so early in the year, and I think it kind of shows us what direction they want to go in for 2026. But there's been things like the crafting tech preview, which we had for just a little bit of time. We have, of course, new patch updates. We have some teasers, which almost don't make sense, but are still very exciting. And then, of course, we have some new updates to the game just through monthly reports and inside Star Citizen. So there's a lot going on here. Before we get into it, if you are enjoying the content and you'd like to stick around, feel free to subscribe, though. I do have channel memberships open if you wanted to go the extra mile, and feel free to join the community Discord. I'll have a link for that down below, and I would love to have you there. Outside of that, I would love to get into what in the world is going on with Star Citizen right now. Now, the first thing here is 4.6. It's pretty far into the P2 cycle at this point. I assume we're going to be releasing to live on Friday just because that's what they always do, and because we have a Inside Star Citizen on the day before, Thursday. So that's obviously very exciting. The Inside Star Citizen will be about 4.6. That's, unfortunate because it's kind of like the patch watches from last year and whatnot, but I'm still super excited to just get some sort of video content from CIG, and hopefully it kind of shows us the start of what will be a pretty nice year of video content from them. Outside of that, the only thing I wanted to note for 4.6 is that we haven't got the Apollo Hermes yet. Not that that's a bad thing. There's potential that we still get it in like 2 days, maybe tonight. But I think it is interesting how we have not received that in the P2 at all yet. So hopefully that still releases with 4.6, but regardless, it's probably going to release pretty soon no matter what. And then again, like I mentioned before, we have the Inside Star Citizen on Thursday. That's going to be exciting, even if it covers information we all kind of already know. I'm still really looking forward to just getting any sort of video content. Again, like they said earlier, there will be more video content this year. It's just a matter of time before that starts getting up and running again. And there is a lot of features, systems, ships, all that jazz that they're going to be able to talk about in these videos. So I'm really, really hoping for some good stuff this year. On top of that as well, we're also getting the November and December monthly report tomorrow. So it's going to be a pretty filled out week. I cannot wait to talk about this monthly report. If you know anything about this channel, you know that I love just diving into these things. They're a super great source of information, and it just kind of gives you a good direction as to what they're working on currently. So I always love getting insights on that. I am personally mainly looking forward to ship updates in terms of like the Ironclad, the Liberator, the Kraken. Those three are the main ones I'm keeping my eyes peeled for. And of course, there's all the features and systems of the year, but I'm really keen to hear some more news about some of these ships. So that's kind of what I'm ready to see. I would love to know down below though if there's anything you would want to see updates on, anything like that. I know some people don't really think about monthly reports very much, but it's always something I get super excited for. So if you have any thoughts, let me know down below. Now moving into the crafting tech preview stuff. First big thing here is that we got the build, we got the patch notes, very exciting stuff. But then it broke very quickly because the blueprints were not functional. So it came down a lot quicker than it probably was supposed to. But good news is we actually just a couple minutes ago got an update that there is another crafting tech preview scheduled for today. It's just a matter of hopefully getting that, obviously fixed because you need blueprints for crafting. I did hear from some sources that there was functioning, qualities and whatnot. So a lot of things seem to probably still be working behind the scenes. It just was mainly the blueprints that were not. So unfortunate, but it looks like we're getting another tech preview, literally just in a couple of hours. That's awesome. Now, getting into the actual playtest patch notes itself, I'll leave them up on screen, but I'll mostly just summarize some of the things we're looking at here. The first couple are just basically crafting fabricators, getting started with it, and the blueprints. Nothing too crazy. The main things worth noting is that you get one stored at your inventory in your hangar. You can bring it up from your freight elevator. The fabricator's only really creating FPS weapons or FPS items right now, so just smaller items currently. And then, of course, if they were working, blueprints are obviously going to be something you use to craft items, but unfortunately, they were not working in the build yesterday. The main exciting thing that I'm starting to see here, though, is the working with materials and inventory. So, materials can be stored in your local inventory at your current location or by placing them on the cargo grid of the item fabricator itself. The crafting interface displays materials from both sources. Materials come in different quality levels, and you can mix different qualities together to meet recipe requirements. I do love that. I think it just shows a bit of depth to the actual system itself, and the idea that you can use, whatever qualities you want is a really awesome idea. You'll just need to obviously fill out the recipe and consider how that might affect the final product, whether that be durability, you know, I don't know how well it performs in certain aspects. Who really knows exactly how quality will affect the items you build, but I expect we're going to hear a lot more about that pretty soon. Now, the next thing here really is just adding materials from the UI itself, nothing too crazy. Crafting and queuing items. The main thing here is that you can deliver items to a certain location, probably not like Amazon Prime or anything like that, just like how you would typically in shops and stuff like that. And then you also can queue different crafting jobs, which I think is really awesome. Just if you want to make like a really large quantity of a certain weapon or armor, I think that's a pretty great feature to have. You can also dismantle items. Now, this is not really functioning for anything that wasn't already crafted previously, but it should in the future at some point, of course. It's just something that currently will only work if you craft like a PAAR, you put it back in there, and you can dismantle it and get all of those resources back. Probably not nearly as much as you put into it, but a decent amount. And then, of course, there's 2 new resources. We have I I can't stand the names of these things sometimes. Aslarite and then Aurotite. Ar Aurotite? I don't know, man. It's like Auratite, but it's an O, so I don't wanna say Aura, but whatever. I don't care. You can flame me in the comments. It's just I'm not gonna try that hard for it. There was a couple disclaimers for the test. For the most part, this isn't too crazy in terms of like what's actually going on here. They talk about how the UI art is absolutely not final, and they actually want to get a lot of feedback on that because, of course, that's really important for them. And then there's just a couple of things in here, just like the materials we just talked about that I could not pronounce. Those are actually not in the game currently. Stuff about actually dismantling items, they mentioned that as well. Basically, just the bugs and stuff that are currently in that test. So I think that was worth noting, but nothing too crazy for the most part. I guess the one thing I did notice is that whenever a blueprint requires a unit rather than SCU value, it needs the actual physical item. For example, blueprints that require Aphorite need the physical gem, not the commodity crate. Now, that really is all we can say about the crafting tech preview. There was no real crazy leaks going on. I know there was something about like a base building, keybinds stuff. That's not anything I'm really worried about. I assume that's just keybinds for like quite literally like the developer UI or something like that. It just doesn't seem super relevant currently. Good news is that they're still working on it. It's still happening behind the scenes. Of course, I just don't assume we're going to get any updates on it anytime soon. So as much as I want to get excited about the base building, keybinds, and all that jazz, it's just nothing too crazy. But I am still absolutely looking forward to that. And the moment we get something really kind of big about base building, you will for sure hear it from me. The last thing that's going on this week is an in case you missed it sale because CIG loves doing those. If you like want the Perseus or the Clipper or something like that, and you don't really want to wait until that period kind of ends to get it in game, feel free to snag it during the in case you missed it sale. Outside of that, though, it's really just like a hey, this is your last chance to just give us money for these ships before we kind of start putting them in game. So just keep that in mind going into it. Nothing too crazy that's going to actually happen during that sale. Now, moving into some of the sneak peek stuff, I did kind of want to talk about this for just a second. We have our last sneak peek from last Friday, the 16th. This is just a picture of what looks to be, you know, potentially the municipal works. I'm not sure. It could be associated with Rockcracker, but, it just doesn't seem like Rockcracker to me for some reason. We know that Rockcracker is absolutely the next, big sandbox activity that's going to release to the verse simply based off of data mines and whatnot. But it's kind of interesting. This sneak peek just seems so like not Rockcracker. It's almost confusing because it kind of seems like municipal work stuff. I could be entirely wrong here, but regardless, it's a cool tease, and hopefully we can get stuff like this pretty soon because Levski and Nyx in general definitely need some content to keep it a little bit more active. Now, the last thing I'll end on is crafting is a huge feature and system. I simply cannot wait to see it actually hit the PU. It'll probably take some time, not nearly as quickly as the engineering tech preview, but I'm super pumped for whenever we get it and however much we get. Probably going to be a pretty dumbed down version compared to what we know was the crafting system from like CitizenCon 2024. But I certainly think this is going to be a great first step, and I hope you guys are just as excited for it because I think it'll really change the reason why we actually do certain missions and kind of the reasons why we play the game. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you guys are as well, and I cannot wait to update you as soon as we get some more information on that. With that out of the way, though, again, thank you so much for watching and sticking around. I know I'm kind of just talking a lot in this video, but I mean, I guess that's kind of what I do here. I hope you stick around and subscribe for some more videos because we are definitely getting into some monthly report stuff next video, and I cannot wait for that. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.